think, I mean, even if she was coming back, though, like even if she is coming back, which I agree with everything you're saying, I was shocked to hear all this, that she's still working with bloggers, because I would think you got to run because you didn't get caught per se, even though you kind of did. Just lay low, girl. But even if she is coming back, this is a long pause. Like it's almost like, do you even realize, even if you are coming back, the check isn't going to be deposited in 5 weeks when all this ends? It's now going to be a year possibly before there's another dime, because even if you're back, it's a pause. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think she's thought this through. I don't
Yeah,
know.
no, she's not. No, and again, they're gassing her. The people within her own camp don't tell her the truth. They keep her in this facade, this la la land. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Do you really
Can we
think?
quickly?
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say before we get to
No,
it,
go ahead.
one more thing. Do you really think they would let her go because of all of this?
I think that if they don't let her go, they're setting a horrible example to the other franchises, including this one, that anything goes. Because the whole world has, especially the Bravo world, has been made aware that these girls were leaking screeners, that these girls were making stories, planting stories, investigating the cast, ruining businesses on and off the show just for the show's storyline. So I think that if they bring her back and they bring Jennifer Aydin back, they are telling every other housewife it's going to be a fucking like shit show, everybody. Have at it. Do what you please. Do whatever you want against this person and that person. Everything goes, guys, because we didn't put our foot down with these two girls and they were doing the most and we knew it and we saw the receipts. We were up to slide 70 within the network and we saw what they were doing and we did not do anything about it. So have at it, guys. I just think it would really, really muddy up the waters and create chaos within the own network if they keep them.
I would agree with that. I would think at the very least, I mean, to me personally, there's no question that Jennifer Aydin will not be back. And will she take the fall
Well,
for Teresa? I don't know.
within Teresa's camp, that's what they're saying as well. So I personally feel like she's gone, and that's because of the tea that's being leaked within their own camp. That she's gone and she knows it. I mean, they did hold her from press. They told her to stand down. She did do Watch What Happens Live, but maybe that was part of her contract. She had to. I mean, Andy didn't look too happy. The look on Andy's face throughout that Watch What Happens Live says it all. He's not happy. He's not happy.
No, he's not. And I don't know if Jennifer
So I'm
knows
hearing that she's
this.
gone. Is
Yeah, I
Teresa
mean,
gone?
I'm hearing that Jennifer is
Yeah.
gone too. Is
Is Teresa
Teresa? I
gone?
don't
Who
know.
knows? Who knows?
Right.
Yeah, and I do hear people saying, "Well, is Jennifer going to take the blame, all the blame, all the fault?" Well, Teresa leaking me screeners that came from Teresa's email, like that had nothing to do with Jen Aydin. Teresa texting me, "Did you get the screener?" Teresa texting me, or she didn't call it screener, she called it episode. "Did you get the episode?" Like that's all Teresa. That how is Jen Aydin going to take the fall for that? I mean, everything we did in regards to John Fuda. I mean, the letter part that came from Jennifer to me. The Fuda letter where it involved like family history that was whatever, and they wanted that out there on social media. That was all Jen Aydin, but the whole DM with Brittany, slipping into Brittany's DM, having them reach out to Brittany, that was all Teresa's camp. So I don't see how Jennifer can take the blame for Teresa's part in this. I'm wondering if Jen Aydin is pissed at Teresa because Jen had to own it and Teresa denied it. So it's crazy how that's going to play out.
Do you think they would just reboot this whole thing because it's such a mess?
I think there's storylines there that are still interesting, and to keep familiar faces, I have a feeling some people will go and some people will stay. I don't think they'll do a total reboot. I think there's still storylines there.
Yeah, and a reboot didn't work with New York. What else did you want? I interrupted you. You were going to say something
Oh,
else.
no, just circling back really quick to the finale at Rails.
Yeah.
Teresa's notes. She also told me that at one point she starts to tell Margaret that she has bigger problems on her hands. Like she was trying to bicker with Margaret in regards to the Vanessa thing or whatever. Oh, and then Teresa did tell me that Melissa was trying to interrupt because at some point, here was Teresa at the finale telling Margaret, "You're talking to the ex," and then she was like trying to fight with Melissa about them being involved and her husband talking to the ex. And that every time Melissa would say something, Teresa was just like, I don't even know what Melissa was telling me, Gabriela, because every time she would open her mouth, I was just like, whore, whore, whore. So we're going to see Teresa call Melissa a whore like nonstop, which is very disturbing because we're in the age of social media. The Gorga kids are going to witness their aunt calling their mother a whore, a whore, a whore, a whore, a whore.
It's
It's
over.
gross. But
I mean, it's
so anyway,
over.
they're bickering back and forth. Very over, yeah. So they're bickering back and forth. And at one point, Teresa tells Margaret, like, you've got a bigger problem. Like your husband like has a problem with his hands, like he's real handsy, he likes to touch women. And Teresa told me that Margaret responds with like, oh yeah, he loves Dolores. He's always touching Dolores. And Teresa was like, she tried to excuse it. And I even told her, like, he tried to put his hands on me, and then like, she moved her hand back. She's like, but I told him, like, fuck no, like this, you're not gonna pull this shit on me. Like, he's not gonna touch me. Like Teresa was trying to make the case that Joe Benigno has a problem touching women. And I thought, wow. I mean, and trust me, I didn't like Margaret at the time, but when Teresa told me this, I was like, oh, we're not gonna go there, are we? That's like such a stupid argument. Like, girl, we're scraping the bottom of the barrel here. Like, what else do we got to throw at this woman? Let's not go there. It's not gonna land. But if they show it, we're gonna see her talking about Joe Benigno having a problem with his hands. And that was pretty much
and
it.
producers at this reunion, like she just was waiting with this envelope, and they just were like, no, we're not going there. Like that's the whole reason we're not having a reunion.
For the watch party, yeah. So separate from the finale. So for the watch party, I just heard that Teresa was pissed as hell that she tried to pull the article, like she tried to use the article, and that production shut it down. And they were like, no, we're not doing this.
Now you're like breaking up.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it just sounds muffled for some reason.
Oh, okay. No, so she just said, this is for Teresa's camp, that she was pissed that she tried to use the article in production should they weren't having it.
Wow.
So we'll see.
Oh, that's better.
When we watch the watch party, we'll see.
We'll see. I mean, I would think that if they're not going to use it, they'll just edit it out, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. Unless we see her attempt and production shut it down, but I doubt they'll show production shutting it down.
What about, like, I think, was it you who said this? I don't know where I read this or saw receipts, but the whole, like, we had this thing forever. I mean, look, it wasn't on the show, but we know that there's this rumor out there. Well, it's not a rumor. I mean, Dolores cheated on Dr. David. I actually know this myself. That's out there, but we always thought, personally, I always thought that it was Margaret that started that rumor, because even though Margaret pretends to be friends with Dolores, Margaret loves drama and loves to bring people down. Was it you who was saying this, or I read somewhere online that it was really Teresa